One, two. Hey, what's going on? Roger Snipes here. So welcome back to my channel. I want to start doing a few more informational videos because I don't really use my YouTube channel that much. I'll do my best. You might see the occasional post here and there, and then I might disappear for about a year. But I will do my best. I'll do my best. I've actually got my laptop here where I've put some notes down. So I'm going to go to my laptop to just get some references and talking points so that I make sure I don't miss everything. So today I want to talk about, are supplements important? I talk about it a lot on my social media channels, different stuff which I take on a regular basis. But many people ask whether they should take it, and sometimes it's a yes, sometimes it's a no. So supplementation is useful if you are trying to bridge the gap of nutrients that you might be missing from food, or if you might need a bit more than what you're currently having from food. So supplement is to supplement your current diet program. So it should never be eaten or taken in replacement of food unless there are certain foods that you might have an allergy to, for instance. So supplementation might come in handy. But I'm going to break down a few different things. So the first thing is if you have a deficiency in certain nutrients. Let's say you go to the doctor and you do a blood test and they say you are low on vitamin D, and the sources of vitamin D which is available are not the type of foods that you like, you can decide to have a vitamin D supplement. A lot of people know these days that certain foods might be rich in certain nutrients, but it might be too high in certain macronutrients. So, for instance, if you wanted to increase your selenium and you read that you should have it from pumpkin seeds, you might already have enough fats in your diet, and you might decide, actually, I don't want to eat selenium. There's obviously other foods which are available, but say it kind of imbalances your macro count and every single calorie is accounted for. Let's say you're on a diet program and you don't want to overconsume, but you want to have those specific nutrients, you can have a supplementation. Also, really, also, if you are on a calorie deficit, then that is a high reason why you would have deficiencies in other areas. Because when you're eating a whole spectrum of foods, there's a higher chance that you're going to hit not just your macros, but your micros as well. All the minerals, all the vitamins, there's a wider choice of foods to pick from. Unless you are very analytical on each detail of food that you put on your plate, then supplementation will definitely come in handy. Come on, don't play with me right now. Don't play with me. Seriously? Okay, let's ignore that. Another one is health conditions. So if you are sick, you might need more of something else, of a particular vitamin than a regular person. So you might be requested by your general practitioner, or healthcare practitioner as they call it, to increase certain types of vitamins like B12, B6, or whatever, because it's extremely low in your body. And if you have a certain disease, your body might require that you have way more than the average person, because your body's ability to metabolize it may be different. or just to improve your overall health. So you might need it for that reason. If you are an athlete, chances are your body is going to need more nutrients in order to recover and in order to perform. Your body is going to be exerting a lot more energy, a lot more effort is required. So that's where supplementation can come in handy as well. And another thing would be, preparing meals is not the easiest thing all the time. So sometimes, if you have a really busy schedule, it might be more convenient to make a protein shake with some blueberries, some nuts, some oats, and some other stuff, and just sort of pack it full of macronutrients and minerals um, to save time. You know, people have families, kids, wife, husband, and events which you have to go to. So cooking meals all the time is not going to be easy. So supplementation at those moments can come in very handy. Um, Sometimes you might need supplements for targeted support. So, for instance, if you have joint issues, you might need to have certain supplementation for that, like glycosamine, for instance. Or if you have wrinkled skin, you might want to reduce that, reduce those fine lines without having to go and take Botox. You might decide you want to have bone broth or collagen. So these are forms of supplementation. You can make bone broth, but again, it's a process. So time which is in a limited supply, this is where you can have certain help from supplementation. If you have a weak immune system as well, back to if your healthcare practitioner says you might need to have certain things, then there could be certain supplements that can boost your immune system. Again, if you've got a certain macronutrient amount you're trying to eat and you don't want to keep over consuming, and sometimes when you want to get certain minerals from certain foods, the milligrams is quite low unless you eat so much. Whereas in a concentrated supplement, you can hit your milligrams of whatever it might be. There's potential risks if you take supplementation and you don't need it. You have many content creators or influencers that will just sell you anything and don't really care about your background or whether you need it or not. So they'll just say, hey, take this, it's good for you. I think one of the best things to do is blood work to see whether you do need it or not. If you go to, well, in UK, there's the National Health Service where it would either be free or much cheaper than going private. But just doing some blood work to see where you are health wise would be a good thing. Also, kind of take self inventory in the type of foods that you're eating to give you an indication as to whether you need it or not. So people might say, okay, it's winter time. You should up your dose of vitamin C. However, if you're eating lots of fruits and let's say bell peppers, and there's many foods with vitamin C. Let's say those foods are on your plate. Chances are you don't need to have vitamin C as a supplementation. So it's so easy to overconsume if you're not careful. Another thing is if you are taking medication, sometimes certain supplementation can interfere with that, either one way or the other. So if you're on medication and you have certain supplements, those supplements might not actually work. So you could be purchasing, spending good money on those things, and you're not getting the benefit of it. And then there's the other way around, where it could be a bit more severe. you're on medication for a particular reason, but then you're taking certain supplementation which can counteract the effect of the medication. And if your medication is to help you from progressing the stage of a disease, that could be quite serious. So always make sure that you're not just taking it for the sake of it. Another thing to look into is quality. Many companies will just sell you stuff. I think that's what shops are about. You go to a supermarket, all they want to do is sell you stuff. They don't care for the well-being of you. They will sell you processed food. Just buy everything. As long as you're buying, that's all that matters. And it's the same thing if you go to a pharmacy or a chemist. They'll just sell you anything. And it takes a bit of education, a bit of due diligence, learning about what supplements are good and what are not good. So doing a bit of research about the brand that you're looking at to make sure you're not just using any any supplements which is a bit iffy, a bit dodgy. If you can find any, if they've got like a breakdown of like maybe some clinical trials which they've done on their supplements, if they've got some certification on their website to show that it's FDA approved, then it kind of ticks more boxes to say that, okay, this product is pretty good. So be careful with that. And sometimes, if you are not careful, then it's probably best to not use it. There are so much misinformation out there. Again, you don't want to just pick up any supplement just because it's just advertised really well. Do your own due diligence. People that might need supplementation, and again, you need to speak to a healthcare practitioner, maybe people that are a bit older. I do posts regularly on this where if you are a male a person who is above 30, testosterone levels is going to drop. So it may be advisable to get your testosterone levels checked, and you might need some test support in some supplementation. Then you have, let's say, pregnant women. And this one is a bit of a interesting subject. Now, many times when there's supplementation on on supplements, they would say not for pregnant women or those breastfeeding. And I think they have to say it for their own safety. But something like folic acid is pretty typical for pregnant women, or even women on their monthly cycle, let's say. So it's not necessarily a condition as such, but like monthly cycle, they lose a lot of iron. It may be important to replace iron at that point. Again, collagen for people that are getting a bit older, skin starts to lose tightness, that sort of thing. What happened? What happened? Also, restricted diets, as I mentioned. So if you are on a calorie deficit, then definitely you want to really look at supplementation, think, okay, what minerals could I be missing? And immune boosting certain supplements like perhaps vitamin D, but not suggesting you should have it. It just all depends. But yeah, time of year as well. If we're talking about vitamin D in some countries, like the Norwegian countries, their winters are expanded across quite a few hours. So because of that, many people there might be lacking vitamin D. So it might be a good idea to have vitamin D supplementation. And people who are on certain types of diets. So if you're a vegan or a vegetarian, chances are you might need to supplement quite a few things. You've literally removed a whole food group, which I respect. However, you also need to think about yourself. You might want to save the animals, which is great, but you need to think about yourself as well. Okay, what supplements are going to bridge the gap from certain minerals that I could be missing? Um, yeah, and that's it, really. I've just put some notes about whole foods. Yeah, just trying to eat as much whole foods as possible. The more whole foods you have, I would say the less supplementation you need, because the more processed you have, the more it is stripped of essential nutrients, the more supplementation you need. So I think that is it. That is it. If you have any questions more about supplementation, leave them below. Just put them in the comments so I can read them and get back to you, hopefully, on another video. Thanks for your time. This is Roger Snipes. You take care.